Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer member Vite Ramen. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. Welcome back after a long week and weekend of Force of Will. But if you still have some questions, you've come to the right place. It's Office Hours, your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast featuring myself, just turning 30 today, DM073. And I am joined, as always, by Mike Rance.
Jeremy's old. Everybody give old in the chat.
And Paul Reisman.
I sent you an Amazon package with just ibuprofen in it. Welcome to 30, buddy.
You know what? I am actually running out of ibuprofen, so that's helpful. Thank you very much.
My back.
Good. See?
Good.
See? I knew.
You knew. You knew.
I
Oh, I
knew.
gotta have the gloves on.
Yes.
Immediately.
I have them. I have the gloves. I will respect it.
Oh, my
Respect the
God.
gloves. Before we get started, I do want to say just thank you all so much for being here. I'm glad to be able to just kind of chat and have a good time here on my birthday. If you like what we're doing, if we make you laugh, make you smile, want to consider supporting us financially, and you're not already, you can click that join button down below to become a member here and start your curriculum here at Ruler School. It's like a Twitch subscription. Hey, it's like a Twitch subscription, but just for YouTube, and it goes to support us, and you get access to like the emotes and things on our Discord server, which you can join using a link in the description below as well. Get you all kinds of cool perks with higher tier memberships, getting you different perks. Like you saw the names on the in the front panel, we send merchandise to you. We let you do deck techs with us, all kinds of stuff, and you help us unlock new emotes. Right now, we're trying to get Troll Brad unlocked. We have 18 more members to go before we can get that next emote unlocked. I also do want to say, I still do want to say, also, if you haven't picked up your orders yet, your pre-orders for the 7th, Odyssey does still have pre-release kits and boxes. They have plenty left. So please go check those out if you haven't already been. There's a link in the description to take you to their website. So, guys, coming off a pre-release weekend, we don't really have anything to talk about specifically, but it's my birthday, and I wanted to hang out with y'all, so we're just going to have a good time. So, Paul and I have done pre-release already. Mike, you have not. I want to know what in the chat. Travis, you are the one that messaged me about not being in my intro shout-out. Huh. Do you know... Travis, we'll have to have a conversation, because I checked today. You might just be a student level. If you're in a student level, then you just get to be in the descriptions. And I might need to update that. If you are an alumni and above, that's how you get in the intro. So if I'm wrong, let me know, and I'll get that fixed. But thank you for reaching out.
Jeremy, for every $5 that somebody donates, you should put on another layer of gloves.
I only have 2 gloves.
Well, we know what we have to do now.
I've only got these 2 gloves. That's what I'm saying. I don't have any more.
Yeah, but I need to find someone to make more gloves, that's for sure.
I need to find some more gloves.
Also, every time somebody donates $5, I'll drink more.
Jeremy Franklin does not condone the use of super chats to make Mike get unhealthily drunk. Just making that very clear right now. So
Jeremy might not
Paul and I have had pre-release already. Mike's having pre-release already. I had a really good time with this limited environment. Paul, Paul's the big stickler on limited in terms of Force of Will's experience. So the drum roll.
This is the only time that I thought sealed was better than draft, because if I got multiple Castles of Belial, nobody was gonna win.
Yeah.
Nobody did, by the way. I drew in top 1, so
yeah. So yeah, this was a really good experience, I think, by comparison to the last one.
Tied for top 1.
Tied for first. This is a really good experience versus last time. It was because the set itself, kind of as we anticipated, was pretty self-sufficient. It wasn't really too dependent on a ruler to like make the cards do things. And it was really fun playing around with the new mechanics. Like even just by themselves. Like Null. Like we had talked about how Null, we were excited to see what Null looked like as an archetype. Bless me. And like
Bless you.
playing in the pre-release made me experience what Null feels like when it's an actual archetype. Dang, that deck is fun. Like I'm very excited to like play a Null deck. Wall of Terror is an amazing card.
That card looks so cool.
That card is so good. Yeah.
I'm gonna play that card to Valentina 1.0. I'm gonna flash in with no cards in hand, and you are gonna get walled.
Yeah. Sure. I could probably go find out who made these and buy more, but I'm not going to do that. My favorite pre-release card was probably Wall. I think Wall of Terror was legitimately my favorite card. Just card was such a beast for like turning on Null super quick and like manipulating and stuff like that. Castle of Belial's quick second though. Just make it. The thing about a Castle of Belial is the first one negates your opponent's first one. Because like just no tokens can hit you for any damage. And you'd be surprised how much of the set has that like 400 attack threshold. So if you haven't already, make sure you might not think about it, but if you have the green Asmodeus demon to make them sacrifice addition, you're playing it just in case your opponent has Castle of Belial.
Or you're playing, I think it's Carlina's Storm that blows up stuff on the field.
Yeah,
like
or Mermaid.
That card is the only addition removal, and then I guess there's Mermaid
if
to
you
put
hard
it back
cast
in your
it,
hand, which is
if you cast it, it puts it back on the bottom of the deck, which in limited is practically a death sentence because there's so few ways to search in this format.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, nobody had those cards.
Yeah,
my sealed.
That's very
release.
fair.
I can't wait to pull none of them and then have my buddy Scott, the best pulls, pull all of them, including the God Pack from the case we got, including the God Pack from the kit that he ordered, and the God Pack from the kit that we have at the store. He's gonna get all of them.
Jeez.
I'm very excited. So
I did Asmodeus Enchantment Agarian this weekend.
Ooh.
So I was playing. I love Josh to death. I was playing against Josh Bostart, the Vardius Bard.
You're so mean to him.
And
stop.
I played a turn one. I played a turn one Wolfgang edition, and he like said, like he like thought about something for a second, and I was like, this man has a Garian in his hand. Like just like because of the fact that he thought about threatening my 1-drop edition, I was like, there's a Garian in hand. And so I just like didn't play 1-drops for the rest of the game, and eventually he played the Garian, and then I just killed it that same turn. And then on my turn, I was just like, I'm going to play Asmodeus Enchantment and take it. Hooray! So, felt pretty good. And then it's okay, because we actually played each other in the tournament, and he clapped me 2-0. without using Garian. The man saw his Castle of Belial's, and I was just like, I don't get it. I don't get here. Starlight Masquerade. Question is, I got a card that says Barrier Flying, followed by Darkness Resonator Circle. The Barrier, with this, it says Flying, and then it says Barrier Black. The Barrier Black means that you can't target it with Darkness cards, or your opponent can't target it with any kind of Darkness card or ability from a Darkness card. So hope that helps. Hey Rustin, thank you very much. Let's talk about the Fallen Angel. That's another card that was doing a lot of work in pre-release. Is that Fallen Angel?
No. This is the wrong Fallen Angel. The Fallen Angel that you really want to play is the one that
thanks, Rustin.
kills you.
Thank you very much, Rustin. We like.
That's $20. That's a lot of drink. Let's go, boys.
That's a lot of glove.
That is a lot of glove. Here, I'll transition the glove to being on my head. There we go. Head glove.
Congrats.
Glove on head, or don't believe it. Please put shoe on head.
We need glove that is also hat.
Hat glove.
Hat glove.
So yeah, no, it was we had 16 players at our pre-release at Odyssey, and that was with you guys had what 10 at yours up north, right?
At our first one, we had 10. Yes.
Yes. So between those two they were going on at the same time. We had 26 Force of Will players all within an hour of each other. It was pretty good.
Hour and a half. But yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like,
I know Josh Mostart came back for I think it was Sunday's tournament.
that makes sense.
So they had 3 pre-releases at TCG Prime. One was the first one was the one I went to. It was at our normal 1 p.m. time. After that, there was a second one that fired, and then Sunday they had a third one. So there was a lot of pre-release going on in Ionia.
Yeah,
over here,
that's
so
awesome. That's awesome. We
doing all right.
convinced we had 2 players who have been interested in Force of Will, but have primarily been playing Flesh and Blood, play in the pre-release, and have such a good time that they messaged me and said, I think we're going to alternate every other week playing Force of Will and Flesh and Blood. Please help us get in. And I was like, yes, absolutely. We had 2 players who haven't played in a while come back, sit down, play through a match, and partway through the first match, I was paired up against one of them. Partway through the first match was like, this is so much fun. I'm definitely coming back and playing more. And I was like, yes, great, excellent. And then we had 2 guys come up from Indiana to pre-release with us. That was dope.
Jeez.
And then we also had a gentleman by the name of Ryan, who was hanging out at Odyssey. Very clearly was just kind of hanging out. Someone at the front was like, told him what was going on about Force of Will. He asked some questions about it. I talked to him about it, and he was like, well, I'm here. I'll give it a shot. Decided to play like 15 minutes before the pre-release, and by the end of it was like, wow, I'm having a really good time. When do you guys play on a weekly basis? And I was like, Wednesdays. See you on Wednesday. So, like, that alone tells you that, like, about the pre-release environment, it was super fun, super inviting, not stale, a lot of, like, interesting card interactions and everything else. And if every pre-release, like, set design can be like this, like, yes, please. Yes, please. I had a good time. Mike is frozen. We have he's back. We've lost him.
Sorry, I realized that I haven't made my pre-release is tomorrow post, so I'm making a pre-release is tomorrow post.
That's probably an important decision.
Yeah.
Continue talking without me. I haven't played a pre-release yet.
Well, I do want to talk about this. So this is what I want to go on to the next part. Is we're about to have another set introduced into New Frontiers with 25 more ruler combinations. So we're about to enter a Force of Will format with 3, so 6, 9, 12, 18. There were 5 in that set. 18, 23, 48, 73 possible rulers in New Frontiers. It's gonna be good.
Dante Singleton, let's go.
Dante by himself, no other tag, just Dante.
Sloth boy, go.
Let's go.
Why isn't he doing anything? Oh, it's because he's got it.
Yeah. Move. Put a Pokemon stick. Paul, as we come into introduction of the new set, what are you like super? I'm really excited to be. What are you super interested in to try first?
So I wasn't feeling this way before, but after I packed the ruler, I immediately started to just brew with it and think about it. And like 3 other people got this ruler too, and that's Beatrice Belial. I'm very interested in this combination, mostly because those are classic control colors. I like the idea of dumping my whole hand and then just having all of these tokens I can generate on board with the Castle of Belial, and then me being able to just say, you don't get to do anything to me, and flipping Belial and just having the win condition there. Sure. I like that idea. But that's where I'm going to start first. Because Beatrice Dante does not feel good at all.
Here's something fun. I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing Toby talking about Dante tier 0, which means that Dante is going to be the worst ruler of the set because Toby is doomsaying it immediately, and I'm very excited for that.
I will say this
Toby,
about
I love
Dante.
you with all my heart.
Dante, in my head, is still better than Zero. Zero has,
yes.
in my opinion, absolutely no utility.
Correct.
Dante actually has utility.
Correct.
Zero bad.
Yeah.
Like, removing effects in the graveyard in the remove from game is really good. Hands down. Zero was not.
Thanks, Steven. Thanks, everybody. I'm very excited to try, since you're going to do Belial, I don't just want to, like, tack on Belial or Carlina onto every single list. I have an idea of what I want to do with Carlina, for sure. I think I'm going to...
I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah, right? I think my first actual deck, I think, is going to be Estema Asmodeus. With the goddesses, and like the shenanigans there with like filling up the RFG pretty heavily, and using, you know, the ability to kind of recycle additions or stuff like that. I was thinking like the reason to pick Belial there was like purely to the idea of so that you can have token generation for protection during the like early game when you're trying to set up. But I think Estema can do the same thing because you're producing like the extra will. So like you can like back end commit to the engine for Asmodeus as opposed to having to being like protected by front end committing to the engine. Thinking of cards like the goddess, look at the top 7, putting the number of goddesses in your hand, RFG the rest, Guardian of Velsivaria, Raise and Revive, Magnus Guardian Beast, like that kind of stuff. So
that's a thing.
Yeah, I the idea of like in your end step going to get Magnus Guardian Beast with a Raise and Revive, getting 2 Verdandies, and then being like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it for sure. I'm very excited to goof around with that. Yeah, that's the other thing is like stances with Asmodeus of this idea of like cradle control or like addition control, which is really neat. Yeah, it's all kinds of... Yeah, Asmodeus. Also, yeah, Allosaurus, a 2-mana 10/10, just like every single turn. Play, get a card back, get a card back, get a card back. I'm also really interested in this idea of playing Wolfgang 2 Life Loss, the deck. Where like...
I'm thinking life gain.
Where we just like...
Because he got the graveyard.
Where we banned it. Stop trying to FTK. Just stop. Here's the thing. Stop.
Imagine FTK.
Stop. It's not good. Any of these freaking Inferno hyper decks are just going to lose to Feeth Mooge. Why would you purposely build a why would you purposely build a deck that's going to lose against current meta? Like, don't do it. Please stop.
Somebody's calling a goddess dump.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, the same kind of thing that I'm talking of, right? Like the idea of the idea with Guardian of Velsivaria and like making the castle really cheap, really fast, and then like just being like, here's my hand.
Because it's just Carlina and you just dump them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It's...
Man.
Secret Duel... I've heard a lot of people talking about Secret Duel in the Moonlight, and I'm just like, Secret Duel in the Moonlight plus Inferno, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's bad, don't play it, and in 3 months it doesn't exist anymore. Great, moving on. Just don't think there's a point.
Welcome to Force of Will.
Hey man, welcome to Force of Will. If you want to try to build a
to make it Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't accomplish it because Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have mana.
I don't know why people are even trying to FTK with any combination of cards in Carlina aside from Resistance, Ouroboros, Dive to give it Swiftness. It's like, that's 3 mana.
And then your opponent and then your opponent plays Lumia and you cry and it's fine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Easy peasy.
Yeah, don't. Stop. Look at me. Look at me. Stop.
What?
Thank you.
Look where? Where?
Talking to the
Like
audience,
where?
Paul. Stop it. You don't need to talk.
I just want to pay 3,000
Where-
life with that one
the
card that makes me
audience.
pay life, and then I'm going to have a good time.
Feith Mooge with the exploding demon. The
There's an
exploding
exploding
demon.
demon.
I'm trying to think of what the exploding demon
Exploding
is.
demon.
Victoria, tell
All
me
right,
your
I'm
secrets.
gonna go. Okay, we are going
Thank
to
you,
the...
Starlight Masquerade. This is very kind. I
Drinking
appreciate
more.
this.
Woo!
I don't have more gloves to put on.
I'm just gonna type in the word demon and see what comes up.
Jeremy, take
Is
the
it from the
gloves off
new
and put them
set?
back on.
I like. I'm so excited because I know that so much more so than the Six Sage era, than the Six Sage set when it was released. This set, Demon of Explode. Oh, the one where you can like pitch it to burn your opponent for 5. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, Demon of Explosions. Here we go.
Yeah, it's the one where
It's
you.
yeah, it's from the new set. Enter this card deals 1,000 damage to target player or J Resonator. Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
this
You
card
can
but
pay
you
red
can-
this card.
it's
Deals
thunder.
5 to a
It's
player or
thunder.
resident. Yeah.
It's the
It's
thunder.
thunder.
It's the uncancelable thunder. Yeah. Like
Oh, is it 12/12?
he's a
It's a
he is-
4
Has
cost.
wings.
You're playing.
No flying.
You're playing 4. You're playing 4 costs in this format.
and
In
you're
this
not
force-
Car-
in
and you're
my
not
Force of Will?
and you're not Carlina. What is this? What is
4
this?
cost
What's
resonators
wrong?
in my Force of Will? More likely than you think.
Yeah, now it is for sure. But like
Yeah,
that's
no kidding.
that to me is like what I was saying is more so than the Six Sage form, like the Six Sage set. This set, so much more so, is just like on a casual level, Jank City. Like, because now we're at 8 sets of support. We're at 8 sets of support in a set that is so much like the gambit of the entirety of Force of Will's identity, but like
Prime jank era
but like
right now.
but just like in such a jank way, right? Like you want to play big beefy boys the deck, you can play big beefy boys the deck. You want to play like life loss style decks, you can play life loss style decks. You want to play control, you can play control. You want to slam a bunch of additions and then cry when your opponent plays the mermaid, then you could do that. You want to try to play a Timmy card like Satan? Sure, go for it. Like I there's so much freedom in this set in just like looking at it that I cannot wait to brew a million bad ideas for Wednesdays.
As a patron saint of Force of Will jank, especially in eternal formats, this set got me feeling things.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's gonna have implications on competitive. It's going to have implications on Eternal. It's going to have implications on New Frontiers at a casual level. It's going to have implications on Genesis. It's going to have implications on like all of this stuff. It's going to have implications, and all of them feel good. Like all of these implications are things that I'm excited about. And like, I'm just like, ugh, what a banger way to knock out the end of a cluster. I just don't think we've had such a good 4th set. Like, I'll put it on record here. Maybe not necessarily in terms of competitive influence, although probably. I legitimately think this set is better than DBV. Like, I'd put it above DBV.
DBV, I'm going to go out on a limb. I've always said my grievances with the card design, but also that card set was not a good set. It was a 50 card set.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bombs and garbage.
Yeah,
that's all.
Because it was because so much of it was reprint, right, for people who couldn't get it at the beginning, right? So I think this goes on the pedestal of as the new best set of Force of Will's entire history.
I'm also going to give some very, very clear cut praise to the design team for learning from mistakes in this set. I think the Six Sages tag rulers were horribly overpowered and terribly designed, and I think the fact that like each tag ruler in this set comes with a specific downside that you have to mix and match and find the correct balance of is incredibly good card design. It doesn't give, there's no like penalty for rulers. You can play one ruler, and the advantage is that you only have one
Negative.
Downside.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's...
I also really do like the fact
Such
that after so
a
many years, we technically have a Tree 2 deck again. Just
3-3.
just
Tree 3.
just play, and that deck is literally as Modi as Belial, because like the like saving yourself from damage and like constantly milling yourself. Like if you wanted to play, I told Trey, one of our locals who has literally I don't think ever unsleeved his Dark Tree deck, just continuously renewed it. I've just told him like, hey, you want to play Dark Tree and New Frontiers? Just play Belial as Modius. There you go. It's back. The same kind of deck. Like, yeah. What's so cool about this set is I don't think we figured this set out day one like other sets. The other thing that I will say about this in terms of the competitive mindset is I have yet to have a deck proposed to me from this set that I can't within 30 seconds tell you a deck that can beat it. Like, theoretically,
it's
right?
called Featsing Mujdart. Anyway.
No, but like I can tell you the deck that beats Featsing Mujdart. It's called Wolfgang 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you like to go on? I can tell you the deck that beats Wolfgang 2. Maybe it's Violet, but also probably now it's, something, there are probably other...
It's probably still Violet.
It might still be Violet. It might also just be Ragnarok 1 or Wolfgang 1. Playing not the FTK variant because Necronomicon just says you don't get enter effects. So, like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like... Cool, all my editions have enter effects.
Wolfgang 1 just gets all of these Cthulhus.
Also, yeah, all of these Cthulhus for Wolfgang 1. Like...
All the normals. I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many good Cthulhus.
Yeah.
Ah!
I'm very excited. Like, there's so much good. It's so much fun. I just have been staring at the binder of the whole set. Like, being like, I want to build this. No, I want to build this. No, I want to build this. Ah! All will fall to the Inferno FTK. Steven, you yourself have told me that deck is trash. Like, stop.
I don't know if Steven is like...
He's memeing pretty hard right
being
now.
Being a troll.
Yeah.
With the DBV is amazing. Like, I personally really loved DBV.
Oh, yeah, it was
like,
great.
The power group of the game, it changed some decks, but you're right. It was like, good or poop.
Yeah.
No in between.
DBV's power came from 6 cards. Like, the craziness of DBV came from 6 cards, right?
The Kaguya,
Dark Alice,
Perfect Loki.
Kaguya, Dark Alice, Perfect Loki, Athenia, Neo Ragnarok, and the Green Giant. Right?
Green Giant.
And oh, sorry, I guess not even saying necessarily Neo Ragnarok, but like Calico Cat.
Oh, Calico Cat was nuts.
Like those 6 cards, right?
Oh, and so, Sephiroth. Because that was used in a loop.
Yeah, the
but
loop
Athenia was more of a loop.
The loop that you couldn't execute properly on stream and had to get told how to do it better in order to win your match.
I knew what I was doing. I just wasn't making progress.
No, like you did the loop, but the loop just didn't do anything, and then Gerardo had to tell you how you were doing it wrong.
Listen, man, I turned my brain off for a lot of that tournament.
Yeah, yeah, that's very fair. But like, to me, the difference between what DBV, like the amazingness of DBV versus the amazingness of this in terms of a 4th set, is like the fun implication that it brings to every single format. Whereas all of those cards I just named from DBV, Perfect Loki was one of the cards that I named from DBV.
No,
Steven,
it's
stop.
Kaguya. Yeah, come on. It's the perfect hand. 4 Kaguyas.
Anyway,
never mind Dark Alice. That card was amazingly enabling.
The difference between like DBV's influence and what made it, in terms of what made it like the best set in Force of Will's history, was like that purely had like a powerhouse influence, like purely powerhouse influence, and like not necessarily anything else. But because of such a powerhouse, it took this top spot of being like oomph, the top of the list. But like with this set, every card I look at, I'm like, Man, this would be really fun to play in X deck. Man, this would be really fun to try out in Wanderer. Man, this would be really fun to put into Genesis. Man, this will be really good for New Frontiers. Look at all these different decks I can make with this. Look at all these decks that I can refresh using these cards. Like, this set has me looking at the entirety of Force of Will, not just New Frontiers. And to me, looking at it from a place of excitement, anticipation, and like drive, and that to me, when you have a set that does that, like, knocks it out of the park. Top tier, best set, especially best set 4 ever. But probably the best set ever.
You think it's better than MOA?
Everything is better than MOA. Even listen to this. Even Vingolf 2 is better than MOA.
Because it had 5 rulers.
Oh, because it had 5 rulers.
Because at least in that we had rulers.
And we got Flak Jacket.
And we got Tank.
And
Class G's Tank is better than MOA.
But most importantly, we got Prego Lady.
For the Prego Lady OTK.
Prego OTK.
Best OTK ever. So DBV, from what I'm hearing, is it was the Pulp Fiction adrenaline needle of Force of Will. Whereas this set is the Matrix. Just cool. Just legit. Like a combination of so many things that when you put them together, they just work.
All your metaphors falling off the rails real hard, but I appreciate you for it.
No, I agree. I agree with what Paul's saying in terms of it. It's just.
Okay. I lost my way.
Yeah.
There is no rails, Mike.
It's not.
There never was.
It's
You're
not
living
just,
in a dream world.
This set is not just instant gratification power tripping. This set is like just satisfying.
And no kung fu.
It's just satisfying from like beginning to end. Like, put it this way. This set was so well, like, I enjoyed this set so much that I took 17 cards from this set and put them in the cube. Like, this is 320 cards from throughout Force of Will's history.
All 17 of them were Garion.
No, Garion is not one of them. 17 cards from this set made their way into the cube. Like,
I think your joke is coming off the rails here a little bit, Mike. You can only have one card in the cube. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike,
Boys,
I asked Paul when he was most first excited to build or driven by. I gave my answer. As self-proclaimed king of the jank, what, like,
Carlina.
Okay, in what capacity though? Like, how do you want to use Carlina?
I'm just gonna jam every single Ghost in the Shell card into that deck. I'm gonna dive the hell out of my opponents. I'm gonna play a truck, and it's gonna be an uncancelable truck. And I'm going to use this truck to win the game. You'll see. It's going to happen. I will make it happen. I got a playset of hollow trucks from Emilio.
Can we get
That's how committed I am.
Can we get some
bit.
Keurig flexes in the chat for truck? Carlina truck.
Carlina truck.
But like that sounds like, as stupid as that sounds, that also sounds hilariously fun to play, right? Like, that's
it's not
great.
only stupid, but it's also dumb.
Yeah. Like, but that just sounds so fun to play, right? And just was completely not even something we could even discuss before Carlina existed, right?
I will say the one cool thing about Carlina with the dive stuff is that you can play Aramaki and Togusa and not feel terrible, because you just leave the Carlina up and your opponent just can't play stuff. If they play a thing, you just make them ban shit or return it to their hand, and then you just get a thing that's dived and you bring it back for 3. It draws you 2 cards, and then you can tap Carlina to use another one, and it just fuels itself, and your opponent can't do anything, and you're playing void stuff, so you can play.
And then your opponent plays Dante, and then you cry.
Shut up, Jeremy. And then, no, don't even talk to me right now. Don't look at me, because you're also going to play the Tron lands, and the Tron lands are going to come into play, and you're going to produce so much mana with Carlina. You're going to have... Okay, let's do the math here. Let's do the math. Come, boys, come do the math with me. Okay, ready?
Why?
Okay.
Why does this feel like it's going to work?
So here's 4 of the ones that produce 3. It's 12 mana there. 3 of the ones that produce 2, 6. That's 18 so far. You with me? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And then there's 3 of the ones that produce 2. That's altogether 24 mana right there. You tap Carlina for a red and a colorless. I don't care what the other colors. It's colorless. You play the Awakening of Milos, and you burn your opponent for 25 times 400. That kills everyone. That's 10,000 damage. We're dealing 10,000 damage with Carlina, boys.
And then your
We're
opponent
just gotta get to 10 stones.
And then your opponent flashes in Red Witch and you cry.
No, you atomic turbulence them because you're a savage.
And then you couldn't play. And then you couldn't play.
That's correct. You can't play the Awakening of Milos. Yes.
Some real talk though. You can literally just play Carlina's Castle.
Oh yeah.
And you're good. Like you can splash it because it's
black,
green, and 2 void. So you're good.
Wait, no, you could just Carlina, because when you cast the Awakening of Milos, it's an X cost, which means that it's going to be big enough to where it can't be canceled. It's such a good strategy.
I'm not saying you're going to cancel it. I'm saying you're going to Red Witch it so the damage doesn't do
I
anything.
don't care. Nobody's playing Red Witch, Jeremy. Nobody's playing Red Witch.
It's fair.
If they are, they're lying.
He does have a point. But this is one of the things about me is like, this is one of the things about this idea is the fact that like we're talking about all these deck ideas, and Mike has broken the internet.
Immediately goes to deck build.
Yeah, immediately he's left. He's gone. We're talking about all these deck. We're talking about all these deck ideas, and like in all seriousness, in the context of a locals environment, like that's not unviable.
Sorry,
right?
My deck was so good that the NSA shut my camera off.
Yeah, like, but this is what I'm saying is like these ideas that we're having, this like jank that we're throwing out, sounds so fun and also sounds completely locals viable, right? In the sense that
I'm gonna deal 10,000
right
damage to my locals.
Right,
you'll see.
If you're and then like
it'll happen,
and then your locals players are gonna have a chuckle and a laugh about it. You're gonna get to do it for a week. They're gonna sideboard against it the next week. But like that's the whole thing. Is like as I'm talking about this, sideboarding. Like I've actually started sideboarding for locals now that we have a good crowd because like people are bringing creative stuff, and also like we've talked about this before. Over the course of Atlas Origins to now, more of Force of Will sets, like more of individual sets, feel good to play. So like the sweep of decks that people can play and the cards that they can play in those decks have a lot more functionality and feel good. So like sideboarding is important, and like adjustive sideboarding is important, and all these other things. And I find myself enjoying so much more of the game. And like it's gonna be even crazier after this set. Because again, 25 new rulers just entered the format.
Oh my god.
Roderick, look at Roderick. Roderick. Stop. It's okay. We know you play red.
Stop enabling me.
We know you play red, Roderick. We know. We don't need to coddle Mike this way. Okay? Maybe if you were a member, I'd let you coddle Mike. But you're not. So you don't get away with this kind of stuff.
Ooh. Sounds like somebody should donate to.
Calling out the community on his birthday. Bold choice, friend. Bold choice.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time.
Hey, it's his birthday. He's allowed to.
But in all seriousness, though, my birthday time. But in all seriousness, like at this point in time, going into this weekend, I have a stem. I have Beatrice left to pull. I have a single copy of Stemma's Wrath to pull, and I have a couple of base rares to pull. And so, like, I'm very excited to come to locals 2 weeks from now, or like next week, and just like start goofing off with these new decks. I don't think I've ever been more excited to record feature matches for the channel than I have with this set because of how much jank.
If you want my theory crafted 10,000 damage Carlina deck,
I'm not.
Hit me up, Jeremy.
I'm not.
Okay, cool.
It's okay. Thank you. Maybe if you were a member at a certain higher tier per month, we could feature it on the channel, Mike.
Hey, whoa! You can't shame me. I'm already a member. I pay my dues.
The podcast crew on your birthday. Bold choice, friend. Bold
Jeremy,
choice.
I'm gonna smack the birthday right out of you.
But like when we
He's
when we
gonna
talk
kill
about,
you.
it's fine.
That's what he said. He's gonna kill you.
When we talk about
10,000 damage.
when we talk about like when we talk about previous sets, like 6 Ages, I mean like even the 6 Ages, the deck builds the first time around felt very pigeonholed in terms of what we were going to be building to like showcase the rulers, right? And so like I was excited to try out this whole tag stuff, but like by the end we were like really struggling to figure out what to do with the different ruler combinations, right? There wasn't terribly too much more to do with them than what we were already doing. And the reason why I'm so excited for this one is because it truly feels like Paul and I could sit down or sit in like different rooms and say, Paul, we are both going to build Belial Asmodeus. Like Paul and I are both going to build Belial Asmodeus. We're not going to talk to each other at all. We have access to we both have access to a full playset of every single cards. There's no color restrictions. Like we're just going to play Belial Asmodeus. And I genuinely feel like Paul and I would come up with two very completely different decks that would both be very, very fun to play. And that to me is one of the most exciting parts about getting ready to do content for this, because even with the 6 Ages, you're like, I'm going to build Feasting My List. Okay, Paul, you also would sit down and play Feasting My List. Paul and I's lists would be like 26 cards the same. Like some tech choices differences, right? But they still felt like, if this is what I'm doing with these rulers, then this is what I'm trying to build towards. And I think that comes down to what Mike said earlier, is like, it's about figuring out the balance of the restrictions, but because they're restrictive as opposed to enabling, there's a lot more freedom to like make use of the space, right? Of like, okay, I have this restriction. How am I going to make the most of it? How am I going to play around it? Like, what part of it am I going to use to my advantage versus try to outplay which part of it? And there's just like, I'm just so excited about it. I'm so excited. Double turn Almerius didn't help with safe creativity either. Correct. Too many pills to decide from, for sure. Ugh. I'm pumped. I'm very, very pumped. Also,
I just need the cards. Jeremy, pull all the cards for me, please.
I'm working on it. Can I just say that the artwork on this set is like 9 out of 10 every single card?
Oh my god! Like just look at this boy. Look at this boy.
Like it's here
Wait,
comes
that's not. You're not allowed to have that.
Here comes the
No, you
boy.
are now.
Here comes the boy.
Or like a Grade Pig, the rare that untaps both of your rulers at the end of turn. That seems really fun. Any of the big boys feel really fun. The burn deck, pre-release, I actually got the Demon of Exploding Flames that Victoria talked about with Castle of Beatrice. I got looped by that card at pre-release. Discard it for 1, burn you, pay 2, bring it back to my hand. Discard it for 1, burn you, pay 2, bring it back to my hand. I was just like, that's just a repeatable, uncancelable thunder. Whoops. Sure wish I had a Castle of Belial, so that was only 100 at a time instead of 4. Like, I'm so excited for what our locals are gonna bring. I'm so excited to take these cards and try to go back to older rulers. Like, I'm really excited to Paul very much enjoys Violet. I particularly don't enjoy Violet the way she is now. I'm not really a fan of, like, it just doesn't do much for me, but I'm very excited to explore a Violet deck more centered around like the 3-drop. That to me sounds like a lot more fun, a lot more creative.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try Olivia's new Prisia box Olivia with new, even more tech options. Like, I'm very excited for that. Also, like, when I say Prisia box, like, I'm not ever going to Prisia loop my opponent. Paul can attest that, like, I just don't. That's just boring to me. I don't.
It's also not good in this meta, so.
I'm not necessarily sure if it's not good, but I also think that it's certainly not as good as it was. I think that you can get more out of it by not doing that.
I mean, sure. I mean, when you're Belial and you have just like 2 or 3 castles out, they just don't. They don't even
Oh
do
yeah,
anything.
also that, yeah, like
So it's like,
okay,
yeah. So I'm like, like, it definitely becomes a utility card. It becomes a reinforcements of the army. Grab this card from the deck and put it into the field. You know, it feels fun.
Rhoda.
Rhoda.
Oh, how do you like that reference? Yeah, there you go. The OG.
I want to just like build jank and just like have more opportunities to show new people the jank. Like,
What Wanderer decks are you making for this? Because, like, okay, I've already mentioned Wolfgang 1 for this, and I know you've already mentioned this is sort of like Tree 2, so there's like so many other things that you can grab for Tree 2 stuff for this. I'm really, really interested in what this could do potentially for some of the older cards in the game, like Whispers in the Darkness. Like, that's a thing.
I'm trying to think of what rulers. Like, Shion just got a heck of a ton more bodies to be able to cheat into play.
Shion flip into a Girion. Love it. Oh,
I also really do like the idea of even playing monster loop Prisia 2. Like red green. Is she banned in Wanderer? Red green Prisia is not banned in Wanderer.
no, she's not banned in Wanderer.
So like
Non-Wanderer.
red green Prisia, but Leviathan is correct. Like OG.
Oh yeah,
Leviathan.
100%.
Leviathan is.
Yeah. So
Card's
like
busted.
So like using like resonance ramp monster loops with Prisia. That sounds really fun. To like, you know, cycle little dudes into bigger dudes with all these things that we've had, because she literally can grab any monster. I'm also really pumped about Grim. Grim with Neverend and Telefairy Tale, because we have so many cool bodies that I really want to double trigger their enter effects. Please.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, if you successfully resolve Carrion's ability to give everything Fairy Tale, everything in your deck is a Fairy Tale.
There you go.
So then you can
Sorry, boys. I was away for just a second when I realized that Carlina can always start the game with 2 stones.
Oh yeah, also that, but like, meh. Bad.
I know. I realized it, so I got myself a couple of Magic Stone
Turbo
Research
Puss in
Institutes.
Boots.
I don't have enough of those things.
Yeah, Magic Stone Research Institute, you can just like tap Carlina,
Slam jam it,
and then tap another one. It's interesting, for sure.
It's neat.
It might also be something that causes a clarification on how that card is supposed to function, because technically its wording is the exact same as the pre-errata Grus Ballesta, but it's never been relevant because we haven't had a consistent way to be able to just produce 2 will on turn 1. So it wasn't like something.
The best way has been like Melfi into Magic Stone and
Melfi
then
into that, and that
yeah.
feels like really awkward. But like the fact that Carlina can just do it might mean that it's like, hey, did you ever intend, like, was the intention of that card the same as the intention of Grus Ballesta's? Because if it is, then that doesn't work, because it'll just be an errata to say, and if you do, cheat a stone into play. But that's the other thing too that we can talk about here too, is like, even going into this set, this is the end of a cluster of fast responses about cards. Like, we're probably going to get a Q&A document this week with some of the questions that we have. With some of the interesting cards. And like, don't get me wrong, it would always be better if those errors didn't happen. But like, translation issues happen, and like, I'd rather have I'd rather have a translation issue get fixed the week of set release than have it just be guesswork for forever. And I think that was what we used to deal with, and now we don't anymore. And it's just like every set is just one step closer to a Silver Age. Because we can't go back to Golden Age, but we can go to Silver Age. And I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Steven, just so you know, Zeus Alice is a musketeer.
She
There
is.
you go.
Yeah, she's everything.
She's a musketeer.
She's all things.
There you go.
I'm so pumped for this whole set. If the new cards do nothing to unseat Lycion, do you still think we'll see some cards that hit? So first off, there's no way in hell that it doesn't unseat Lycion. Lycion will still be good, I think, but it's not going to be what it was. However, if it truly does become completely still unseated, then I think that it is very likely that we will see some hits. Because then we will have had 6 months with a completely new set with 25 new rulers and a support suite set that didn't give anything to the 6-stage decks, still not being able to beat the 6-stage decks. And I don't think it's there. I will also say, Turbo Puss in Boots that isn't Musketeers. Oh yeah, the Mocking. Okay. I will say that here's the other thing that I would like to point out about that is that I had something here for this specifically about the Lycion in terms of unseating things. Brain had it, and then I looked at the thing. If these two cards use this, nope, it's gone.
Rip.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Drip
That's what happens when
thoughts.
you're 30, man.
That's what
Oh,
happens.
yeah, he's 30 now.
That's what happens when you're 30. To be honest, I was thinking the
That's
same
what
thing.
happens.
I was like, that's what happens when you're 30. Oh no, I got it. I'm back. So I will say this. The reason why Lycion is so good right now is because of Violet. And personal psychology. And personal psychology. So as it stands right now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Violet was actually the biggest influence of the format rather than Lycion, because Wolfgang's matchup against Lycion is like insanely good. It's like a 70-30 at minimum against Lycion decks because they just don't have any interaction. It's about to get better. Like Wolfgang's matchup against them is about to get better. But the problem is in the triangle. You have Feasting, Moonstart, you have Wolfgang, and you have Violet. This matchup is like a 70-30. This matchup here is a 70-30 in Violet's favor, or it's probably like a 90-10 Violet's favor. That's also going to change in this coming meta. The problem is this is a 45-55. So with good play, Violet can beat Feith Mooge. And because with good play, Violet can beat Feith Mooge, the safe choice is to play Violet if you don't want to play Feith Mooge if you're playing in a competitive meta. Because it means that you have one part of the triangle, which is a solid matchup. You have an excellent matchup against the rest of the field, and this matchup is winnable. So Violet is the problem child. If Violet's matchup against Feasting Moonstart was a 70-30 in Feasting's favor, this format would be significantly... the format up till now would have been significantly different. It is Violet's fault. Personal psychology! Hooray!
Yay, psychology. Yeah, and like you said, Wolfgang 2 just got so much support. Acheron? Did you read that card?
Yeah.
It's insane. Wow.
Gray, I think,
my gosh.
Gray, I think we are about to enter a format of triangle into octagon. Because
Yes.
because of the fact that all of the different Fallen Angel decks are all so different. And the support that they got, like the way that they force change from the previous decks and the support that they give to the previous decks, I think is going to create a much more like ever evolving dog chasing its tail meta. That's my thoughts. Especially at the local level. But I do significantly think that Minnesota's going to be a friggin' clown fiesta. I'm very excited to have that. And I will say that we are working on being able to do deck profiles live at Minnesota, so that we will be able to, in between rounds, show you profiles of players' decks that we find that are really creative and doing well, or trying different things. That is something we're going to try to put together because we have a full stream crew. So I do want to say preemptive thank you to Babatunde and Victoria, and then of course Paul, who will be joining us for streaming Minnesota, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, Olivia has a great matchup against Violet too, especially now. I think the Olivia matchup against Violet has gotten significantly better with the inclusion of Garion. Because now Olivia has a comfortable turbulence answer. That was the thing holding Olivia back against Violet, was turbulence. And with a consistent turbulence answer and more threats in the format to turbulence to then make turbulence feel not as good, I think Violet's matchup against Olivia gets significantly worse. Influence! Hooray!
Yay. Thank you, boy.
Here comes the boy.
Stop your turbulence.
Stop your Welsers. Stop your Necronomicon barrier. Stop your Black Witch in 2 different ways.
Stop your big show.
Stop your big show. Stop your all kinds of stop your Tiny Violet, although that seems pretty mediocre, but like you get the picture.
Not irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm very excited. The internet is trying to eat Mike.
Stop your Mike rants.
Didn't know Mike was a 1 cost. I would have thought he cost at least 3.
3 costs.
Maybe his internet's a 1 cost.
3 cost,
it 100% is a 1 cost.
3 cost is absolutely playable if your ruler is Carlina, or if the format slows down.
That's true.
Or if the format slows down a little bit.
So if your deck is Carlina, gotcha. Okay,
I don't think so. I do think the format is gonna have to, I think the format is gonna have to shift to 2 drops. 2 drops and up.
Yep.
I think depending.
I mean, you have 2 rulers that say you cannot win the game and you cannot lose the game, right? Like when you have 2 rulers that actually have utility in the format existing and people are like actively wanting to brew with those, I think the format slows down.
I also think
Hands down.
I also just don't think that you can depend on 1-drop strategies. That, like, you can have 1-drops for utility for sure. I just don't think you can base your deck around 1-drops, because I think you're going to walk into Garions and then get blown out. I think you're going to want to be preemptive. 6 Sage Stones on 1. Yeah, you can play big boys. Play big boys.
Big boys.
Big boys. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I do wish we had something to be able to. I do wish we had something to be able to cancel the trigger of 6 Sage Stone. That'd be funny, but we don't, unless we get to Seal 4.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Even though the fact of, like, sure, if high cost resonators have to be relegated to Carlina, okay, at least I get a big boys deck, right? At least I get a big boys deck, because for the longest time, like, we just haven't had one, and so, like, that's exciting to me, right? It's something that we've been missing from FOW, and it's good. It feels good. Oof, that was a fun hour of us roasting each other and talking about life and talking about cards, and Mike getting eaten by his internet a couple times.
Don't roast us too much, because then Carlina's gonna want to like chow down.
It's partially my fault for that internet going down. So I think I might have just bought like 20 Magic Stone Research Institutes.
That's a lot of Magic Stone Research Institutes.
Yeah.
What are you researching?
Why 20?
Oh, because Games and Geek had 7.
But
Another
why
buyer
why
had
buy so
another.
many? Why are you buying so many of them?
Because I'm gonna force this Carlina thing if it kills me.
Okay. Anywhoozle. At that, on
Oh.
that note, I think we're gonna call it for tonight. I do want to say thank you all so much for joining me here on my birthday. This has been a ton of fun to chat with you guys in the chat, as well as my co-host, as always. Looking forward to. We will have tomorrow. We will have a. I believe tomorrow is. It's either the tournament. I think the tournament report for the OGP and Madrid are going to be going up tomorrow. Wednesday, we will be live streaming our casual locals again because we're going to be working on getting a Wanderer recording with myself on Fox and Paul on new Wolfgang 1.
Eternal formats, yay! Good.
Wanderer 1. I'm very much looking forward to that. Thursday, we will have the premiere of the next episode of the yearbook featuring Zero, Master of the Saber. 0-1 ruler, very excited to see that. And then this weekend I'll probably, I don't know, maybe overrun my TikTok. I'll crack some packs and stuff. So maybe go check out,
about him.
Maybe go check out our TikToks to see me open packs live and stuff. So thank you all so much. As always, I have been DMO73, now 30, and I've been joined as always by Mike Rance.
Haha, Jeremy's old.
It's
Be
true.
there soon.
And Paul Reisman.
Still 29.
Still there. And until next time, class dismissed. Have a good night, everybody.